I'm Simon Gilbert, and I'm the founder and managing director of Elmore Insurance Brokers, specialists in cyber insurance. I joined the insurance industry in 2001, and there I joined a company called Lambert, which at the time was one of the top 5 brokers in the world. I got into insurance by actually writing a letter to the managing director of the department I was interested to join, and he requested I come in for an interview. I interviewed with, I think, 3 people at the time, and the questions largely orientated around whether I liked rugby, whether I drank beer, and whether I was a good hard worker. And I was very pleased I got the job after this interview and a bit of waiting. And the job initially entailed being an account handler. Now, in insurance, an account handler is someone who looks after the files, who reads the emails from the clients, and then makes a response, depending on what the response may require, whether it needs to be seen by the insurers in terms of a quotation or an amendment to the contract, or in terms of drafting emails or endorsements or contracts of insurance, which will be used to document the insurance process for the clients, for the original insureds. I moved into cybersecurity insurance, in fact, by a bit of an accident at Lambert back in 2001. The first meeting I had in insurance was with a company called Click for Cover. In fact, the same company are around today, and they're called CFC Underwriting. Click for Cover in their day were one of the first innovators of cyber insurance in the UK, and if not globally. They had a product called eSurance. And eSurance was the very fundamental starting point for insurance and cyber insurance for companies with digital and technology risks. The eSurance policy was interesting, but at the time I had no real understanding of it because I was so new to insurance. But over the years, as I moved from different companies and different positions, I always reflected on eSurance and how it might be applicable to different businesses in different countries. In 2003, I actually left Lambert and joined another broker called United Insurance Brokers. This was a fantastic company, a family-run organization, and with international offices spanning the globe. When I joined, we were brainstorming quite soon from the beginning, and we were talking about new products we could potentially discuss and share with our clients. And I, armed with eSurance, suggested that this could be an interesting idea. And it was taken up by the team. We started discussing this with clients, both in the UK, but also around the world, in the LATAM region, in Middle East, and in Asia. But it was a bit of ahead of its time for the emerging markets. Cyber insurance, or maybe we call it privacy liability insurance, was really taking off in the US. And that was primarily because of data protection regulations. In California in 2003, they made it compulsory for all companies with a data breach to notify a cyber attack should it have happened. So this regulation was a real driver for privacy liability insurance, which was later named cyber insurance. But in Europe and the emerging markets where I was working, we didn't really see the traction and the interest in the product, apart from some companies who had an extreme reliance upon technology and their systems and the data which was used on those systems to offer that to their customers. Being a founder and managing director, the buck stops at me, but really what I love is the roller coaster. Every day I have no idea what to expect. There's always a bit of good news, there's always a bit of bad news, there's always a surprise, there's always a smile and a bit of a full spectrum of emotions, I would say. But achieving tasks which we set out to achieve is really rewarding. So we've got a blank piece of paper. We started the business in 2015. I actually started it in my bedroom, and the idea was always to move down to the sitting room, or to move from the sitting room to a proper office, or to move from the office to a bigger office, and keep the ideas which we're having executed into and implemented into actual reality. So at the moment, we are trying to move into a bigger office. We're trying to diversify the products we offer to our customers. We're trying to launch our own cyber insurance wording. the list goes on and on and on. I think what really is most enjoyable is setting yourself challenges and working towards those, while at the same time helping others have set their own challenges and together moving in the same direction. So it's a great fun day we have every day, but it's very busy and very long. Normally from around 7:30 till maybe 7:30, 8:30 at night. But the rewards are there because every action you have is, you see the consequences, either good or bad. It can be very satisfying to see how your actions have consequences elsewhere. I'd like the day to be maybe about 20 hours. I think that would be very efficient. And maybe, I'm already working 6 days a week, so that's probably enough. But maybe we have an 8-day week, so we have a bit more time to do everything we want to do, because it goes very quickly. And you look back on a month, a year, 2 years, and in a blink of an eyelid, it's gone. So time goes very quickly, and also things take time to happen. So, like the early philosophers, when they're sitting in the islands, having ideas about life, about how life works and why life works. Same way in business, you need to have ideas, but the idea is the first stage. Once you've had the idea, you then need to implement it, and you need to build it, and then you need people to want it. So there's a real time process to that initial idea to getting it off the ground and then working. And I like things to happen quickly, but life doesn't work like that, and there's always challenges and difficulties. So you have to balance your enthusiasm and your wish and desire to achieve to reality and practicality, which is some things you mustn't rush. You just got to take your time. And as the world whizzes by, sometimes you feel that's you haven't got enough time. If someone was interested in entering the cybersecurity insurance industry, I'd have a few bits of advice for them. One is it's really fun. Fun in terms of intellectually challenging. Cyber insurance, unlike some other types of insurance, it's really applicable to all types of business, from aviation to manufacturing to telecommunications, financial institutions, retail, hospitality, healthcare, you name it. There's a reliance upon the network, the systems, the data which those organizations will act upon. So when you're getting into cyber insurance, you've got to have a really an open mind as to what does actually cyber insurance mean, and what does it actually mean for the business who's buying the insurance. And one thing we always recommend people who are coming to join us is to do some research on cybersecurity, on the cybersecurity landscape, on what is cybersecurity and how does it work? What are the physical types of security? What are the digital types of security? How can organizations protect themselves? Because having an understanding about the cybersecurity environment can actually help you understand about the risks. Ultimately, risk is one very important part of insurance. The risk management process looks at 3 areas: the identification, the mitigation, and the transferring of risk. In cyber insurance, we sit at the end of that process when we're looking to transfer the remaining risk once it's been identified and mitigated. So when anyone who's wanting to join cyber insurance industry and understand it, they need to understand that full process. And those with a good understanding of each one of those stages will be of most value and will also be of most understanding of the insurance industry that they're joining.